Dear sister?
Step sister.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony, this life.
We find ourselves a little bit on the line this year because of the whole unfortunate tasing injury.
Try to make ends meet. You're a slave to money, then you die.
Annie Grover is the key. You know what they're not gonna do? Kick the vice president's daughter's sorority off campus.
She's not even rich because her dad's on like a government salary.
There are more important things than money, Cece.
Since when?
I did not. This is a reimagining, a new chapter in the lore of Cruel Intentions. So I really, wanted to bring that to Annie as well. Reimagine her, and she's a new person, with different ideas, different perspectives,
different background for sure.
Different background. Yeah. Of course, things are similar. A lot of things are similar, but yeah, I didn't necessarily want to be, too influenced. I wanted to kind of, take her off the page and see what I could bring to her to make her a new, fresh character.
I love our relationship.
I do too.
I think it's fun because it's like we knew each other in the past. And so it's like anyone you know in the past. You know them in middle school, you know them in high school. I'm like, they're very different as an adult in college or after. And so I think you kind of get to see those dynamics of how much do I really trust you or not. And I think Beatrice is very strong-willed and tries to take, Annie under her wing of, I'm going to take you to my side. My side's the best side. And I think with our friendship the whole time, you kind of see these other people come into play that have to deal with both of us in different ways, and our perspectives on these people are very different. And I think since Annie is creating her perspective, Beatrice already has her perspective. Beatrice has already gone through these issues and has already been scorned in the past by them.
Right.
So she's going to have one way to look at it, and Annie's going to have another, right? So I think that plays in our dynamic as our friendship, which I think happens in real life. So I think that's very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that our relationship is one of the more, complex, kind of complicated ones that we see in the show because, you've been talking about reputation, and I think it's a really good point. We're both concerned with our reputation, and that, Beatrice is kind of trying to figure out what it means for her reputation if she does this or if she doesn't do this, or should I care? How much do I care? What am I willing to sacrifice?
Right.
Whereas Annie has only ever been told that she needs to care about her reputation, and so she's trying to just, let it go, and do away with even being concerned with a reputation. So it's interesting to see, their interactions on that, because they're kind of on different sides.
Opposing sides of the reputation.
Yeah, but they're kind of experiencing more or less the same thing, just in different ways.
In different ways, and I think it really influences our relationship and kind of gets in the way of it for a little while. And
Yeah,
then,
definitely.
you got to see how they come back together.
Work it out.
No, that was never a discussion. This whole script is completely fresh and brand new, with new characters. There are similarities, I think, between Ronald and Professor Chadwick in the sense that neither one of them is steeped in the world of lies and treachery, and they get kind of sucked into it. But that's really the only similarity. They're completely different characters, and no, there was never any discussion of trying to redo something old.
I hadn't seen the movie until I auditioned, and so I think there's definitely like an essence of her that's carried into it, but she's a completely different character, and so it's almost even like impossible to even think about trying to do something from the original movie, because just the way she talks is like she's speaking like a mile a minute, and she's hyper intelligent and just very capable, and she's still definitely like insecure and doesn't pick up on everything, a little confused and naive, but like she's on top of it. Like she's running the sorority and stuff like that. So definitely feel like it was a completely new thing.
The relationship is an intellectual connection. That's the relationship. He's a political science professor, and she's passionate about that subject. And so they really connect on an intellectual level, and they have really, intense conversations and debates about, political history and fascism and stuff like that. And so that's really the basis and the core of how they connect. And then it kind of evolves from there.
Yeah, I feel like for Cece, it's so touching and a little sad even, because it's like he's the first person that's ever really been like, no, like, you are amazing. And she's like, cannot believe that, because for her whole life, everyone has basically been picking on her and been mean and putting her down. And that's what makes her like, go and wanna do more and people please. And so it is a really beautiful dynamic that he kind of sees something in her that nobody else does. Oh my God, to the ends of the earth. And in fact, I actually feel the same way about Sarah Catherine, who plays Caroline. Like, I'm obsessed with her. Like, she's my queen. Like, Caroline is my queen. Like, we always joke on set that, like, because you don't see Cece's room in the show, and Caroline's room is just like this grandiose, like, gorgeous room. And we would joke that, like, Cece just like sleeps at the like bottom of her bed like a little dog or a little cat. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Scott's relatively new. He's kind of suggested in the movie, but Sarah and Phoebe took that idea of him and expanded it into its own arc. So no, not really.
Blaze is loosely based on Blaine, played by the wonderful Joshua Jackson, yeah, sort of as far as this next chapter of Cruel Intentions goes, I think we've sort of evolved maybe some of the things and made him a little more self-operating than the original movie. Yeah.
Scott stays pretty separate to I think I kind of had the inner monologue that he was very fearful of Caroline. Though we meet in the show a couple times, he stays away from her as much as possible. And then Lucien is a part of the fraternity. And I think, for the most part, Scott thinks the world of Lucien. Yeah, against maybe his to a default for sure.
Blaze is the little whispery birds around. I think the royalty of Lucien and Caroline. So he's operating, he's using them, he's trying to mold them into what he needs them to be, or to do what he needs them to do to get what he wants. So yeah, I think he tries to use them as
pawns.
Yeah, but they're kings and queens. So.
We jump in quick to our relationship. I think their friendship and relationship evolves, and it takes downturns and upturns and understanding each other, and there's a lot of fun and a lot of resolutions that happen between those two, for sure.
Yeah, I think it initially starts as pretty paper thin as far as Blaze's motivations. It's pretty, black and white, and there's not much to it. And then sort of over the course of the season, you'll see maybe a deeper meaning and a deeper side to Blaze and his connection. Yeah.